In this video, I'm going to show you the 5-step path to become a security architect in 2026. Now, I know this process works because I have spent 26 years as an architect, many of them as a chief architect, and I have helped people get their first architect jobs at companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Cisco, IBM, Palo Alto Network, Zscaler, Netspoke, and many other prestigious organizations. Step 1. The first step of becoming a security architect is learning the right security architect skills. Now, many people make the mistake of only learning technical skills for the architect role. Unfortunately, technical skills alone are not enough. There are 4 types of skills that you will need as a security architect, and they are technical skills, business skills, communication skills, and executive skills. Most people only focus on technical skills, and that mistake costs them the job. They study tools like firewalls, IAM systems, Siemens source systems, network security, application security, encryption. And that's great, but it's not enough. And here's the reason why. The security architect role is not security engineering. Now, you absolutely need technical credibility to become a security architect, but technical skills alone will not make you a security architect. And here's the reason. Security architecture is not security engineering. And by that, what I mean is that security engineers implement the strategy, but we architects design the strategy. So while a security engineer is building or configuring or deploying something or automating something or even troubleshooting it, we architects instead are deciding what controls will be needed, why they are needed, and how these controls will protect the business from harm. So a security engineer needs to know maybe how to configure a firewall. But we security architects must be able to create the security strategy and then be able to explain that strategy to the executive team and get support and funding for it. We have to be able to explain how that strategy reduces risk or how that strategy supports compliance. We have to be able to explain the architectural trade-offs and even the business case supporting our security architecture. That's the difference. Security engineers are builders. Security architects are advisors. We security architects design the strategy to protect the organization from harm, protect the organization's assets, their employees, their customers, and even partners. We security architects are evaluating trade-offs and making decisions across risk, cost, performance, security operations, and even business priorities. And that's why you must learn more than security tools. You must learn how businesses work and operate. You must learn how executives think, and you must learn how to communicate clearly. Because that's the role of the architect. You are there to be a strategic advisor and explain your technical decisions in terms of business outcomes. Now, the better your business skills, the better your communication skills, executive skills are, not only are they the key to getting hired, but they in many cases will increase your compensation. So yes, go deep into learning security, but don't stop there. Learn architecture, learn business, learn communication, learn leadership, and learn the executive skills that enable you to act like a trusted advisor. Now, let's move on to step 2, because skills alone are not enough. You have to become the kind of security architect that hiring managers want to hire. Step 2, become the security architect that hiring managers actually want. Now, hiring managers don't just hire for skills. They hire trust, they hire confidence, they hire communication, and they hire good judgment. So what they're looking for are architects who can represent the organization well, influence stakeholders, solve complex problems, and make good decisions under pressure. Now, this is especially critical for security architects. A security architect works across the entire organization. We work with customers, we work with executives, business leaders, finance teams, security teams, compliance teams, applications teams, infrastructure teams, cloud teams, vendors, and many others. So that means hiring managers aren't just going to ask themselves, are you technically savvy? They're going to be asking themselves these questions. Can you communicate clearly? Do you think clearly? And can you explain complex security concepts simply? Will you be able to balance security and cost and speed and usability with business priorities? Can they trust you to be in front of executives or a customer or a senior technical leader? And if you can, you're going to be incredibly desirable to hiring managers. And being desirable to hiring managers starts with showing that you have the attributes they want in every interaction. So your resume should show you have the attributes the hiring manager wants. Same with your LinkedIn profile, your architecture portfolio, your social media. Every conversation you have should show the architect that you are. So when you communicate, it should make people think that you are credible, professional, and truly understand business. Every interaction you have all along the way getting hired and others should show that you can lead, be seen as a trusted advisor, and are going to represent the company well. Because that's the goal. The goal is you're not just proving that you understand security architecture. You're there to prove that you can operate as an effective security architect. So when you position yourself for a security architect role, start presenting yourself like a strategic advisor. Show your business acumen, show your executive communication, your leadership, and your judgment. And that brings us to step 3. Because if you want hiring managers to believe you can do the job, you need proof. And your portfolio will be that evidence that you can do the job. Step 3, build a real security architect portfolio. Here's where many candidates lose the job. They say they can do the job of a security architect, but they bring no proof. They have certifications, they may have technical knowledge, lots of hands-on configurations experience, but they do not have any security architecture work products. And that's a major problem. Because a technical project shows you can build something, but a security architecture portfolio shows that you can think strategically. It shows that you can evaluate risks, design secure systems, make good decisions, and align security strategies with business goals. See, your security architect portfolio is that proof. Now, your security architect portfolio should not look like a collection of technical exercises, as that will position you as a security engineer, not a security architect. Your portfolio must look like the work of an actual security architect, meaning it should prove that you understand business, can analyze complexity, design the future or the to-be state architecture, influence stakeholders, and communicate decisions clearly and carefully. So, having said that, what belongs in your security architect portfolio? Real security architecture artifacts. For example, any kind of security strategy document, any kind of current state or future state architectures you've created, any kind of zero trust architecture designs, any kind of IAM architectures that you designed, any type of a cloud security architecture or a risk assessment or a security control mapping. These are things that belong in your portfolio. Even architecture decision records or stakeholder communication plans or even executive presentations that you're delivering on security architecture. All of this shows you can operate at the level of the security architect, because these are the things we security architects do in the real world. And that's the point. Your portfolio is there to prove you can do the job, not just the technology, but the full security architect job. Because when your portfolio is strong, the hiring manager doesn't have to guess about your competency. They'll be able to see how you think, communicate, and make decisions. They'll understand how you evaluate risk. They'll be able to see that you have the skills to balance security, cost, usability, compliance, and business priorities. They'll be able to see how you connect cybersecurity architectures to business outcomes. And that makes you a very strong candidate. So treat your portfolio as if it's important. Put time in it, put love into it, put care into it, and make it professional and executive friendly. But keep it business focused, because remember, your portfolio is proof. It proves that you're not just someone who got some certifications or studied security architecture. It proves you can be an effective security architect. Now, once you have the skills and the proof, you need to package yourself correctly for the market. Now that's going to bring us to step 4. Step 4, package yourself with certifications, optimize your resume, optimize your LinkedIn profile, and your brand. Because at this point, you have the right skills, you understand what hiring managers want and how to position yourself correctly, you have proof that you can do the job. Now we need to boost your credibility and get you more interviews. Now there are really 4 parts to this step, and they involve certifications, your resume, your LinkedIn profile, and your personal brand. So let's begin with certifications. Certifications can help you get through filters and attract recruiters, which means more interviews. And certifications can, to a degree, support your credibility. But the key to remember is that certifications will not make you a security architect. Certifications will not replace architecture skills, business acumen, judgment, communication, executive presence, or your portfolio. So let's be strategic with certifications. I also want you to understand that some certifications can be a big benefit to a security architect. Others do very little. Therefore, for security architects, we recommend the CISSP, the CCSP, and the CISM. And these are the same certifications we teach to our clients in the same certification phase. Now, I don't want you to think about getting every certification on earth. And I don't want you to waste your time collecting random certifications that do not support your target role. Because the key is you're not trying to become a certification collector. Your goal is to become a security architect. So your certifications need to support your positioning. But they cannot become your entire strategy. They're there to help you get interviews. Now let's talk about your resume. Your resume has one job: to get you the interview. And that's it. Your resume is not an autobiography. It's not a list of everything you've ever done in your life. It's not a place to list every tool, every ticket, every firewall role, or every vulnerability scan you did in your last life. It's a positioning document. And for a security architect role, your resume has to pass the 5-second resume test. And what that means is in the first 5 seconds, the hiring manager needs to know these 3 things: what role you want, why you are credible, and what business value you can deliver. If those things are not obvious, your resume needs work. Your resume should position you for the job you want, not just describe the job you already have. That means you should highlight any work that could be construed or be related to security architecture. So if you've done any work to reduce risk, talk about it. If you've designed any cloud security architectures or IAM architectures or application security architectures or zero trust, talk about it. If you've done anything with governance, risk, or compliance, talk about it and discuss it. If you've worked with executives or managed stakeholders or influenced decision makers, talk about it, because these are all architect things, and it'll make your resume more architect relevant. Now, I don't want you to just list what you worked on. I want you to show what improved because of your work. For example, did your architecture, did your design, did your work reduce audit findings? Did it improve the business's resilience, and if so, by how much? Did it enable the business to move faster for new applications, new services, new things they desire to do faster, and if so, by how much? And the key is that an architect resume should show decisions, outcomes, and impact, because that's our job, to make an impact in the business. Now, one other point. Your interview is going to be based on your resume. So don't put anything on your resume that you can't explain. If you list a technology, be ready to discuss it. If you list a security project, be ready to explain your role. If you list a risk reduction outcome, be ready to defend it. And if you list architecture experience, be ready to walk through the decisions and trade-offs that you made. Now let's talk about LinkedIn. When you want a security architect job, LinkedIn is an incredibly powerful tool. According to Forbes, almost 95% of recruiters use LinkedIn to find people to hire. Hiring managers check LinkedIn. Security leaders check LinkedIn, and a lot of opportunities often start on LinkedIn. So you should have an optimized LinkedIn profile. Now, your LinkedIn profile should not make you look like a generic technologist. It should not make you look like a tool operator or a certification collector. Your LinkedIn profile should position you as a security architect. Your headline should be clear. Your about section should be compelling. And your experience should show architecture impact. Your featured section could include your portfolio or any thought leadership content you created or any relevant security architecture work. And your post should demonstrate how you think. I don't want you to post generic cybersecurity content that sounds like everything else. Don't post random security tips, and please don't post random AI-generated stuff. Instead, post actual security architecture content. Talk about risk reduction or security strategies or zero trust. Discuss identity and access management architectural trade-offs or application security or data protection strategies. Talk about governance or risk and compliance. Talk about how cybersecurity may protect revenue or protect operations, for example. Describe how security architectures enable a business to operate safely. Show how a security architect could balance risk or cost versus speed or usability or compliance. Because when you create content like that, you start becoming very visible to the people that are hiring you for the role that you want. And when recruiters and hiring managers and CISOs and other leaders see your profile, they see you as a legitimate and a capable security architect. Now let's get to the final step. You have the skills, you have the positioning, you have the proof, you have the resume, you have the LinkedIn profile. Now you need to win the interview and get hired. Now the interview is not going to be where you recite cybersecurity definitions. The interview is where you're going to prove that you can operate as an effective security architect. Step 5, winning the security architect interview. Now the interview is where you stop being a resume, and this is where you should start becoming a trusted advisor. Now this is where many technical people struggle, and it's not because they're not smart. It's not because they don't understand cybersecurity. It's because in a security architect interview, they answer like a security engineer. The problem with that is the company is looking to hire a security architect, not a security engineer. So understand that a security architect interview is not just a technical quiz. Yes, they may ask you technical questions. And yes, you need to understand cybersecurity. But the best security architect candidates do more than just answer technical questions. They explain the decisions and the trade-offs and the business impact. They explain risk and compliance and governance. They explain why one option is better than the other for this particular use, all while communicating clearly, simplifying complexity, and building executive trust. Now, that's why I recommend using what I call the trusted advisor interview approach. And when you answer questions, I'd like you to structure your response like this. First, what was the situation? What was the business goal? What kind of risks needed to be managed? What were the options that were considered? What trade-offs mattered? And then what recommendation did you make? And ultimately, what was the outcome? And that structure will make you sound like a security architect. Now, for example, if you're in a security architect interview and someone asks you about what you've done to improve security, please don't say, I've implemented security tools, because that sounds like an implementation engineer, not an architect. Instead, I want you to explain the security architecture. You might say the business was facing an increased security risk because its applications and cloud environments were growing faster than their security controls could keep up, and that we needed to reduce risk, protect sensitive data, and enable the business to move faster. So what we did is we evaluated multiple security options, and ultimately we recommend a phased security architecture approach, where we started with the highest risk areas first, and that included identity and access management, as well as network segmentation and then data protection. We established some security standards, some governance, some incident response plans, and an architecture review practice. And at that point, we gave the business a practical path to reduce risk, to improve resilience, and make security a business enabler instead of a blocker. Now, see, that sounds like a security architect. And the reason is you're showing the business context. You're showing risk thinking and security strategy thinking. You're showing that you can evaluate options and trade-offs. You're showing that you can communicate with stakeholders. You're showing governance, decision-making, and leadership. And that's what hiring managers want. So, a few more important interview rules. First, establish rapport early. In the first few seconds, be warm, professional, and confident, and very easy to speak with. And the reason is people hire people they trust. And for a security architect, you must be trusted very quickly. And here's the reason why. Because we security architects work with executives, business leaders, auditors, legal teams, senior engineers, and even vendors. And we often have to influence people who do not report to us. So trust matters. So on the interview, to keep trust, never pretend to know something that you don't know. The hiring manager can tell, and it will damage trust immediately. So if you don't know something, say it professionally. You can say, I've not had the opportunity to work deeply in that specific area yet. Then explain that you learn quickly. Tell them that you're motivated, and then tell them that you will do whatever it takes to learn that skill if it's important to the role. Then guide the conversation back to your strengths. For example, you might say something like, my strongest experience is in network security architectures, risk reduction, stakeholder management, governance, and connecting cybersecurity decisions to business outcomes, or whatever you are best at. And here's the reason why. That answer is honest. That answer shows self-confidence, it shows self-awareness, and it protects your credibility. But more importantly, it redirects the interviewer towards your strengths. Now on the interview, please do not answer every question like a technician. Answer like a security architect. Do not just explain the technology. Explain why the control mattered. Explain what risk you reduced. Explain the impact to the business. Discuss business goals or risk or stakeholders. Discuss cost or governance or compliance. And especially discuss outcomes. Because that's what security architects are hired to do. We are hired to reduce risk and protect the business from harm. We are there to design secure systems, simplify complexity, and align cybersecurity with business strategy. Ultimately, we are hired to help executives make better decisions. So, prove that in the interview. Show the hiring manager that you can think clearly, communicate simply, and evaluate trade-off. Show them that you can influence stakeholders. Show them that you can protect revenue and operations and customers. And make it crystal clear that you can connect the cybersecurity decision to a business outcome. And that is how you win the security architect interview. So let's recap on how to get hired as a security architect in 2026. Step 1, learn the right security architect skills. Do not stop at just technical skills. Learn business skills, communication skills, executive skills, and architecture decision making. Step 2, become the candidate hiring managers want to hire. Hiring managers hire people they trust. So show that you're credible, professional, strategic, and capable of working with stakeholders. Step 3, build a real security architect portfolio. Do not show labs. Instead, show architecture work products like security strategies or target architectures or migration roadmaps or security designs or risk analyses or executive presentations. Step 4, package yourself correctly. Use certifications to help get interviews and support your credibility. Build a resume that passes that 5-second resume test that we talked about. Create a LinkedIn profile that positions you for security architecture, and build a personal brand that shows your security architecture thinking. Step 5, win that interview. Don't interview like a security engineer. Instead, interview like a security architect. Interview as a trusted advisor. Explain decisions and trade-offs and business outcomes and strategy. And that is how you become a strong security architect in 2026. If you are serious about becoming a cloud architect, enterprise architect, security architect, or an AI architect, I invite you to join my next live and free architecture career webinar. This video gave you a roadmap, and on that webinar, we will go much deeper. I will show you how to build the skills, the credibility, the portfolio, the resume and LinkedIn profile, and everything you need to know how to get your first architect role. And because this webinar is live on Zoom, you can ask me questions directly. So register for the next architecture career webinar by using the link in the description of this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next session. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell to be notified of new videos to help you in your architecture career. This is Mike Gibbs signing off for now, and I hope to see you soon.